You wake up, skip breakfast, maybe even go for a walk, feeling proud because you believe your body is already burning fat. You've heard it everywhere. Fasting equals fat loss. The longer you go without food, the more fat you burn. It sounds logical. It feels right. But what if I told you that for most of that time, you're not burning fat at all? Imagine this. Inside your body, there are two fuel systems constantly competing, sugar and fat, and your body has a very clear preference. It will always burn sugar first, no matter how badly you want it to burn fat. Even if you're fasting, even if you're exercising, even if you feel hungry, your body might still be running entirely on sugar, quietly ignoring your fat stores. Picture someone who has been fasting for 12, even 14 hours. Their stomach is empty. Hunger is rising. They assume this must be the moment fat burning kicks in. But inside their body, glycogen, the stored form of sugar, is still being used. Insulin hasn't dropped low enough. The switch hasn't happened yet. So despite all that effort, their body is still stuck in sugar-burning mode. And here's the part that changes everything. Fat burning doesn't start gradually the way most people think. It doesn't slowly increase from the moment you stop eating. Instead, it waits. It delays. It holds back until a very specific biological condition is met. A precise internal signal. A hidden threshold. This means you could be doing everything right. Fasting, walking, staying disciplined, and still missing the exact moment when your body finally switches from sugar burning to fat burning. And if you miss that moment over and over again, it explains why your belly fat doesn't change, why your energy fluctuates, and why fasting sometimes feels like it's not working. So the real question is not, how long are you fasting? The real question is, when does your body actually flip the switch? Before you start thinking you've been doing something wrong, pause for a moment and understand this. Your body is not working against you. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. The problem is not your effort, your discipline, or even your fasting routine. The problem is that your body is responding to signals you were never taught to notice. Think about how most people eat today. Meals are spaced closely together. Snacks fill the gaps, and even drinks, coffee with sugar, juice, small bites, constantly send energy signals into the body. From the outside, it looks normal. But internally, your body rarely gets a true break from sugar. Insulin rises, falls slightly, and rises again. Glycogen stores are constantly refilled, and because of that, your body never feels the need to switch fuel sources. So when you finally start fasting, you assume the process begins immediately. But your body doesn't think in hours. It thinks in conditions. If glycogen is still available, if insulin hasn't stayed low long enough, if stress hormones are elevated from poor sleep or daily pressure, your body simply continues doing what it's been doing all along, burning sugar. Imagine someone who has been trying everything, fasting longer, eating less, walking more. They feel frustrated because nothing seems to change. But what they don't see is that their internal environment is still signaling abundance, not scarcity. Their body believes there is still easy fuel available, so it has no reason to tap into fat. This is why so many people feel stuck. Not because they lack willpower, but because they've been following surface-level rules without understanding the deeper system underneath. Your metabolism is not a simple switch you control with effort alone. It's a complex network of signals that decides when it's safe to burn fat. And once you realize that, something shifts. You stop blaming yourself. You stop forcing the process. And you begin to see that the real key is not doing more, but understanding what your body is actually waiting for. For a long time, you've probably believed something that sounds simple and logical. If you're fasting, you're burning fat. The moment you stop eating, your body must switch to fat, right? It's a clean, satisfying idea, but the truth inside your body tells a very different story. Your body is not in a hurry to burn fat. In fact, it avoids it for as long as possible. Because from a biological perspective, fat is your long-term survival reserve. It's protected. It's stored carefully. And your body will only use it when it absolutely has to. So what does your body do first? It goes for the easiest, fastest fuel available: sugar. Specifically, glycogen, the stored form of glucose sitting in your liver and muscles. As long as glycogen is available, your body will continue burning it, even if you haven't eaten for hours, even if you feel hungry, even if you're deep into what you think is a fat-burning state. This is where the belief breaks. Fasting does not automatically mean fat burning. It only creates the possibility for fat burning. The actual switch depends on whether your body has fully used up its sugar reserves and whether insulin has dropped low enough to unlock fat storage. Imagine two people fasting for the same 16 hours. One had a high-carb dinner late at night, slept poorly, and woke up with elevated stress hormones. The other ate earlier, had balanced nutrients, slept deeply, and started the fast in a calm state. On the surface, they both fasted the same amount of time, but internally, their bodies are in completely different conditions. One is still burning sugar, the other is already transitioning toward fat. Time alone doesn't tell the full story. Your body doesn't follow the clock, it follows signals. Insulin levels, glycogen availability, stress hormones, and even movement patterns all influence whether the switch happens or not. So the belief that fasting equals fat burning is not entirely wrong, but it's incomplete. And that missing piece is exactly why so many people fast consistently but never see the results they expect. Once you see this, you begin to understand that the real goal is not just to fast longer, but to reach the moment when your body has no choice left but to switch. Now you can start to see it clearly. The real reason the switch doesn't happen is not time, not effort, but something much more subtle. There is a system inside your body that is constantly deciding whether to allow fat burning or delay it. And that system has its own gatekeepers. The first and most powerful one is insulin. You can think of insulin as a lock placed directly on your fat stores. As long as insulin is elevated, even slightly, your body is being told one thing: energy is available. There is no need to burn fat. It doesn't matter if you haven't eaten for hours. If insulin hasn't dropped low enough and stayed there long enough, the door to fat burning remains closed. Then there's glycogen, your body's backup fuel tank. Every time you eat, especially carbohydrates, this tank gets refilled, and your body is programmed to use this fuel first because it's easier, faster, and requires less effort. So even when you start fasting, your body doesn't panic. It calmly turns to glycogen and continues running as if nothing has changed. And here's where it becomes frustrating. You could be hours into a fast, feeling hungry, expecting your body to burn fat, but internally, glycogen is still being used. The switch hasn't even been considered yet, but the system doesn't stop there. There's another layer: the hidden influence of your daily habits. Late-night eating keeps insulin elevated longer than you think. Frequent snacking never allows glycogen to fully deplete. Sugary drinks, even small ones, reset the entire process. And stress, something most people ignore, can indirectly keep your body in a state where fat burning is delayed. Imagine your body as a machine with a priority system. As long as sugar is available, it will always choose it. Insulin stands at the gate, glycogen fills the tank, and your habits keep both of them active. Together, they form a quiet but powerful barrier that prevents the switch from ever happening. This is the villain most people never see. It's not dramatic. It's not obvious. But it's always there, sitting quietly deciding whether your body stays in sugar-burning mode or finally moves into fat-burning. And until this system is understood, the switch you've been waiting for will continue to stay just out of reach. But once you understand the system, something changes. Because the moment you see how your body actually works, you realize this isn't random. It's not luck. It's not genetics holding you back. There is a pattern, a sequence, a timeline your body follows every single time you stop eating. And when you learn to recognize that timeline, the switch no longer feels mysterious. It becomes predictable. Imagine your last meal has just ended. Inside your body, glucose rises, insulin follows, and your cells begin absorbing that energy. Everything is in feeding mode. Your body is focused on storing, building, and stabilizing. So fat burning is completely unnecessary at this point. A few hours pass. Around the 4 to 6 hour mark, digestion slows down. Insulin begins to drop, but it's still present. Your body starts shifting slightly, but not enough to change fuel sources. Glycogen is still full, and your body continues to rely on it comfortably. There is no urgency, no pressure to switch. As you move into the 8 to 12 hour range, things begin to change more noticeably. Glycogen is now being used more actively. Your liver is releasing stored glucose to keep your blood sugar stable. Insulin continues to decline, and glucagon, its counterpart, begins to rise. This is the beginning of a transition, but it's still not the moment. Your body is preparing, not switching. Then comes the 12 to 16 hour window, the phase most people believe is the fat-burning zone. And yes, this is where the process starts to shift. Glycogen stores are lower now. Insulin is significantly reduced. Your body begins to explore alternative fuel sources, including small amounts of fat. But here's the critical detail. It's still a mix. Sugar hasn't fully run out, so your body hasn't fully committed. The switch is not complete. Now, as time moves beyond this point, something subtle but powerful begins to happen. Glycogen reaches a level where it can no longer sustain your body's needs efficiently. Insulin has stayed low long enough to unlock fat storage. Glucagon rises further, signaling the need for a new fuel source. A MPK, your cellular energy sensor, becomes more active, pushing your body toward energy conservation and efficiency. This is the edge of the transition. The moment your body has been delaying. The point where it finally recognizes the easy fuel is gone and a new system must take over. And right here, at this precise intersection of low glycogen, low insulin, and rising energy demand, is where the switch begins to emerge. Not instantly, not dramatically, but unmistakably. And once it happens, everything that follows starts to feel different. And then it happens. Not with a dramatic signal, not with a sudden rush you can clearly feel, but with a quiet shift deep inside your body. The exact moment when fasting switches from sugar burning to fat burning is not tied to a specific hour on the clock. It's tied to a condition your body has been waiting for all along. Glycogen is low enough, insulin has stayed suppressed long enough, and your body finally decides it has no easier option left. This is the moment your metabolism changes direction. Up until now, your body has been holding on, stretching every last bit of stored sugar. But once that reserve drops below a certain threshold, something flips. Lipolysis begins to increase. Your body starts breaking down stored fat into usable energy. Fatty acids are released. Your liver begins converting them into ketones. And for the first time in your fast, fat is no longer a backup plan. It becomes the primary fuel. What's interesting is how subtle this feels from the outside. Hunger may actually become calmer, less urgent. Energy stabilizes instead of crashing. Your mind feels clearer, not because you ate, but because your body has finally switched to a more sustainable fuel source. But here's the part most people miss. This moment is fragile. It only happens when the internal conditions stay aligned. And small disruptions can delay it again and again. A late-night meal that refills glycogen, a spike in insulin from hidden sugars, poor sleep that elevates stress signals. These don't just slow progress, they push the switch further away. The good news is, you don't need extreme changes to reach this moment more consistently. You just need to make small adjustments that help your body arrive there faster and more reliably. Imagine shifting your last meal a little earlier, giving your body more time overnight to lower insulin before the fast even begins. Imagine reducing simple sugars and unnecessary snacking, so glycogen doesn't stay full all day. Imagine adding light movement, walking, gentle activity, not to burn calories, but to encourage your body to use stored fuel sooner. And imagine protecting your sleep, allowing your hormonal signals to stay balanced instead of chaotic. These are not drastic changes, but inside your body, they create a completely different environment. One where the switch doesn't take forever to happen. One where your body reaches that tipping point more naturally, more efficiently. And once you experience that moment even once, you begin to recognize it. You stop guessing. You stop chasing hours. And you start understanding exactly when your body has truly moved into fat-burning mode. And yet, even when you're this close to the switch, even when your body is almost ready to move into fat burning, there are a few quiet mistakes that can pull you right back without you even noticing. One of the most common is eating too frequently. It doesn't feel like a problem. Small snacks, and a quick bite, something light between meals. But every time you eat, even a little, insulin rises again. Glycogen gets topped up again, and your body resets the entire process, going right back to sugar burning as if the fast never happened. Another mistake is breaking your fast too early, especially right before your body reaches that critical tipping point. You've waited, you've been patient, but just before the switch happens, you eat. And in that moment, insulin rises, fat burning shuts down, and the cycle starts over. It's like walking right up to a door and turning back just before it opens. Then there's the type of food you break your fast with. A sudden surge of sugar or a heavy protein load can spike insulin quickly, locking fat back into storage. Even though you fasted, even though you were close, the signal your body receives is clear. Energy is available again, no need to burn fat. But some of the most powerful mistakes are the ones people don't connect at all. Poor sleep that keeps your hormones unstable. Constant stress that keeps your body in a guarded state. These don't seem related to fat burning, but internally, they influence the exact signals your body uses to decide whether to switch or not. And then there's the biggest mistake of all, focusing only on time. Believing that a certain number of hours guarantees fat burning. But your body doesn't follow the clock. It follows conditions. And when you chase hours instead of understanding signals, you can fast again and again without ever truly reaching the moment that matters. So if you've ever felt like fasting should be working but isn't, now you can see why. It's not about doing more. It's about knowing what your body is waiting for and giving it exactly that. And once you understand this, everything changes. You stop guessing. You stop relying on surface-level rules. You start recognizing the signals, the patterns, the timing. And that's when fat loss stops feeling random and starts becoming predictable. If this shifted the way you see your body, share this with someone who's still stuck in that cycle, still wondering why nothing is changing. And if you want to go deeper into the hidden processes that control fat loss, metabolism, and energy, stay connected. Because once you understand the signals, you don't just burn fat, you finally take control.